You feel the constant, low-level anxiety for your friend's troubled relationship. You are consumed with worry over your adult child's career choices. You lie awake at night, mentally solving a problem for a colleague who doesn't seem to care as much as you do. You do it all out of love, out of a genuine desire to help. So why do you so often feel drained, resentful, and completely powerless? Let's talk about one of the most exhausting roles we play in life, often without even realizing it. The role of the fixer, the helper, the one who carries the weight of everyone else's problems on their own shoulders. What if this exhaustion is not a sign that you need to try harder, but a sign that you are fighting a battle that was never yours to fight? Today, we are going to explore a profound and liberating truth, supported by both modern psychology and ancient philosophy. It is the art of letting others walk their own path. And let me be clear, this is not a lesson in how to become cold or distant. In fact, it's the opposite. It is a guide to a deeper, more respectful, and more effective way to love and support both the people in our lives and ourselves. Chapter 1. The Diagnosis. The helper's burden and the illusion of control. Why are we so compelled to intervene in the lives of others? The intention is almost always noble. We see someone we care about making what we perceive to be a mistake, and our love manifests as a desire to protect them from pain. But underneath that noble intention, a more primal fear is often at work, a fear of chaos, a discomfort with uncertainty, and a deep-seated belief that we know what's best. This combination of love and fear creates the helper's burden. We start to believe that their peace of mind is our responsibility. Their success becomes our project. We confuse caring about them with being responsible for them. This is a subtle but critical distinction, and it's the source of immense, self-inflicted suffering. We invest our own emotional energy into outcomes we have absolutely no control over. The result? We become anxious over their life, while they often become resentful of our interference. The very connection we were trying to strengthen becomes strained. The path to peace begins with a radical realization, first articulated with stunning clarity by the Austrian psychiatrist Alfred Adler. Chapter 2. The First Realization. The Separation of Tasks, Alfred Adler. Adler, a contemporary of Freud, developed a brilliantly simple but life-changing concept he called the separation of tasks. He proposed that to relieve ourselves of interpersonal friction and anxiety, we must constantly ask one simple question. Ultimately, who will face the final consequences of this action? The person who faces the consequences is the person whose task it is, and you must never, ever take on another person's task. This concept is a sword that cuts through the tangled knots of codependency. Imagine you have an adult son who is struggling financially because of his spending habits. Your task, as a parent, might be to offer love, emotional support, and perhaps, if asked, your advice based on your own life experience. His task is managing his finances, living within his means, and facing the consequences if he fails to do so. The moment you step in and start paying his rent to shield him from the consequences, you have abandoned your task and stolen his. You have taken on his burden. What is the result? Your own anxiety skyrockets as you worry about his next mistake, and he is robbed of the very real-world lesson that could have been his greatest teacher. You both become weaker. Practicing the separation of tasks means having the courage to stay within the boundaries of your own life. You can love, you can support, you can be a safe harbor, but you cannot do the work for them. To do so is a disservice to them and a crushing burden to yourself. Chapter 3. The second realization. The wisdom of non-interference. Daoism. Adler's modern psychological tool has a profound parallel in ancient Eastern philosophy. The Daoist masters taught the principle of Wu Wei, which is often translated as effortless action, or, more accurately for our purpose, non-interference. Wu Wei is the wisdom of aligning with the natural flow of life, rather than trying to force outcomes. The Daoist sage Laozi wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "Therefore, the master acts by doing nothing, and teaches by saying nothing." This doesn't mean the master is apathetic or lazy. It means the master understands that the most powerful way to help something grow, be it a plant, an animal, or another human being, is to provide the right conditions and then get out of the way. You cannot force a flower to bloom by prying its petals open. You will only destroy it. Let's say you have a dear friend in a relationship you can clearly see is unhealthy. Your instinct is to rush in, to list flaws, to plead with them to leave. The path of Wu Wei is to practice wise non-interference. You can say clearly and lovingly, "I love you, and it hurts me to see you in pain. Know that my door is always open. If you ever need a place to stay, an ear to listen, or help to make a change, I am here for you, no questions asked." And then you let go. Now, this can feel incredibly difficult. It can feel like you're being cold or uncaring. But let's look deeper. Is it truly a loving act to constantly shield someone from the natural consequences of their own choices? Is it caring to enable a situation that prevents them from finding their own strength? The Taoist and Zen masters would argue that the highest form of love is to trust in another person's capacity to navigate their own life. It is to be the strong, unwavering lighthouse, offering a guiding light and a safe harbor, rather than the frantic tugboat trying to drag their ship to a shore it may not be ready for. This isn't apathy. It is profound respect. Chapter 4. The third realization. Mastering your own domain. Stoicism. So, if we are to separate tasks and practice non-interference, where should we place our energy? The Stoic philosophers provided the ultimate answer with their core principle, the dichotomy of control. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus taught that everything in life can be sorted into two categories: things that are up to us and things that are not up to us. Our happiness and peace of mind depend entirely on our ability to focus all our energy on the first category and to accept the second with tranquility. What is up to us? Our thoughts, our intentions, our judgments, and our own actions. What is not up to us? The actions, feelings, and choices of other people. The helper's burden is the exhausting and futile attempt to manage things in the second category. Imagine you are a manager at work, leading a team on a critical project. A self-sabotaging approach is to micromanage, to try and control every action of every team member, living in constant anxiety about their performance. The Stoic leader practices the dichotomy of control. They ask, "What is my task here?" My task is to set a clear vision, to provide the team with the best possible resources and support, to remove roadblocks, and to act with integrity. These things are within my control, and I will execute them with excellence. The individual choices of my team members are ultimately not in my control. By focusing only on their own domain, the manager is not only more effective, but also infinitely more peaceful. This shift isn't about caring less about the team's success. It's about respecting them more by trusting them with the responsibility that is rightfully theirs. The freedom of carrying only what is yours. The deep-seated desire to help and fix those we love comes from a beautiful place. But when that desire becomes a compulsive need to control, it becomes a source of our deepest anxieties. Again, let us be clear. This is not a retreat into a cold, selfish fortress of one. It is an advance into a wiser, more loving way of being. The journey to inner peace and to healthier relationships does not lie in getting better at managing other people's lives. It lies in having the courage to gracefully attend to our own, so that we may offer our love and support from a place of fullness, not anxiety. We learn that the greatest act of love is often to trust others with the dignity of their own path, their own struggles, and their own victories. And in doing so, we are finally free to walk our own path with a lighter step, carrying only what is truly ours to carry, and finding a profound and lasting peace in that freedom.